starting a startup is sexy. It is not sexy. You would likely earn more money in the first year if you worked at McDonald's than you would running your own startup. This stuff is hard unless you know the shortcuts. So I'm here to give you the tools in order for you to power up. So it's about to get serious in here. Can we dim the lights? Right, so we're only talking about two things tonight: personal branding and sales. So, vanity plus value minus time spent equals good personal value. Vanity, if you have 10,000 followers and someone looks on your Twitter, they think a lot of you, they think you're influential. Or they see a lot of press when they Google your name, they likewise think, wow, this person must be someone. But you also need value. It doesn't matter how much you have gained your Twitter followers if you don't get that traction of great content and people wanting to engage with you. The point I say minus time is you don't want to spend too much time on this. You really should be focusing on building your product and selling. The 10 rules of personal branding. Firstly, no one cares about you. I say this because people are like, I can't send the same tweet 3 times in a day. What if someone's looking at my Twitter feed? No one is looking at your Twitter feed. If one of their tweets catches in their feed, you should count yourself very lucky. The reason I say this is people are very scared to do things that put themselves out there, particularly Brits and Europeans. In America, they're far more forward and they're far more successful. So you can't be thinking, I can't do this, I don't really want people to think of me that way. Secondly, people only care about what you can do or can do for them. Most social media posts are extremely selfish. This is how I feel. This is what I like. This is what I'm doing. It doesn't add value to the other person. You need to be doing things that teach other people things or make other people feel good. Be everywhere, but choose text, video, or photo, or all 3. Once you have written an article, you can then make that a video post. You can then make that a picture slideshow. You can do lots with it, but choose where you want to be and then aggressively grow on those channels. I aggressively grew on Twitter, and I'm now moving that across to Facebook groups and personal Facebook. Content is key. When people send out emails, everyone wants to be business guy. You don't want to be business guy. So this is for our book. So when we were talking to people who were on our mailing list, rather than just saying hello first name, we would write something like, hello Tim, you hot little sugar muffin. People see that and it puts a smile on their face and they're much more likely to read it. Dojo are one of my favorite apps. They always have excellent copy in everything they do. And they realized you could put anything in an app store update and Apple will run it. So they had, here's what's in the newest version of our app. More ads. We've crammed hundreds of ads in here as we know how much you love them. We've worked hard to ensure they pop up regularly, so if you miss one, you'll get another chance to see it. So when people see that, there's a good chance they will continue to read those app updates. This is another classic of theirs. Every single word in this email is written backwards. So it's really hard to get through it, but because of that, you're much more likely to remember it. So there's loads of touch points where you can put a smile on a customer's face, make them remember, make them much more likely to get through your funnel. So terms of service, text message reminders, webinar confirmation emails, abandoned cart emails, loading screens. There's loads of little places where you can put something like a cute dinosaur logo or a bit of humor, something that will make people remember you versus all the other companies doing exactly the same thing. So this is the secret formula being sticky. So there's an external trigger, so you see an ad or someone tells you about a product or service or website. You take an action, you visit it, maybe you read some content, maybe you sign up, you get a reward, normally content, you invest more time into it, and then you grab yourself and bring yourself back to the site. Some of you went on Facebook and Pinterest today. Facebook and Pinterest didn't have to advertise to you to get you back. There was a hook in your head that said, I'm a bit bored, I'm going to go to those sites and I'm going to get the content. We don't go on those sites because the content's good. We go because it might be good. We go because we want to see if there's anything in that feed. So you need to be doing the same thing. Your content needs to be so good that people will not only look at you when you're in the feed, they will actively go out. In my Facebook group, Traffic and Copy, people come to it every day to see the new posts. That's what the level you need to get to. So use influencers, but don't rely on them. This is something I really believe. Ask anyone in the networking event after, how are you going to get traffic to your blog, or how are you going to get downloads for your app? Virtually no one can answer this question. they will normally say, we'll get some press or we'll get influencers. Getting press and getting influencers is very, very hard. It's completely underrated how hard this is because most companies are boring and not newsworthy. I mean, most things and events are not newsworthy, so when it comes to your software as a service, you have very little chance of any meaningful press. And press can often just be a little spike of traffic and then it's dead. So, should you build your own networks? Of course. Build your own email list, your own Twitter, your own Facebook. This is because even if you don't get any press, you still have that baseline of people who are going to see your stuff and give you enough money to keep going. Most people rely on influencers, and then if it doesn't come in, they're dead instantly. This is Ninja Outreach. This will help you find influencers. You just tap in your niche. I've been in America for most of this year, so I'm going to say niche, not niche. Is that okay? Yeah? No? What are we saying? Can I say niche? Yeah. All right, thank you. So yeah, tap in your niche and it will tell you whether on Twitter or Instagram the people on it are influential and you can reach out to them. If you do written content, this is Analytica. Just copy and paste your content in and you can then very easily see, oh, have there been influencers talking about this? Should I connect with them? Can I get them to talk about my product? So super good if you do written content. Your Twitter followers, your Facebook group, your Instagram, wherever your audience is, so that every time you post, you have a chance to get reactions. We've all seen things in our Facebook feed that have gone viral, and we've read them and looked at them and gone, this is terrible. It doesn't matter. If they can get that distribution, that's all that matters on the internet. 1 in 5 good posts is all you need, is what people will remember. The reason I say this is people are like, oh, I don't think that post is good enough. I don't know if people will like it. You just have to get it out there. Like at Planet Ivy, we were getting 1 million visitors a month, but we could honestly never say when something would go viral. All we knew is that something would. So we produced 15 to 20 articles a day, and one of them would take off. So we had no idea. The way we paid writers was based on page views. And honestly, it was kind of an unfair system. Some kid would write something about Buffy the Vampire Slayer and it would get 200,000 page views, and someone would take a month to research a journalistic piece and it would get 500 views. So no one knows what will go viral. So you have to put a lot in to see one of them take off. Also, once you have 1 in 5 good posts, people will say that person's a good blogger or I love their video content, and they'll just ignore your bad posts. Copy until you develop your own style. Real simple, there's a very steep learning curve to creating content. So once you copy and you get that good feeling of getting those likes and those comments, it will encourage you to write a lot more. Never say no to public appearances if you're building a personal brand. This is essential because basically everything good that happened in my life in the last year and a half has been from public speaking. All the clients I get, all the new friends I make when I'm touring America, it all comes off the back of doing that one thing that gets you in front of a lot of people, and they have to listen to you. It's a massive difference between this and networking. You know how it is when you're networking, you're working around the room, and then you meet someone, and they're like, oh, I work in finance, and you're like, ah, oh, okay. And then you have to speak to them for 10 minutes, and you're like, oh yeah, very nice. It's awful, but when you're a public speaker, people have to listen to you. They have to stay quiet, and you have the whole room's ear. There's one way you can segue to, and that's what I call the Arianna Huffington technique. I heard a while back this is what she used to do. So when you open the floor for Q&A, you start by saying, this is my name and this is my company, and you kind of pitch so the whole room knows what you do, and then you ask your question. So like when I was running Planet Ivy, like the editor of BuzzFeed was giving a talk. It was an arena of about 300 people. And I put my hand up and I went, I run Planet Ivy, an online magazine for young people. We only have 1 million visitors a month. How do we get to 5? The whole room knows that I'm running a massive website. And when I walked out, people from big companies wanted to talk to me. That's a classic technique in order to get people's attention. Scale worldwide as soon as possible. Once you're doing public speaking, find other places to give those talks. Use the internet because satellite cities across England and America are very, very similar. Be vulnerable. Say what people are really feeling. Everyone wants to be business guy, but that kind of sucks. Everyone is the same if that's the case. You want to say, our industry is corrupt, our industry is broken, here's how we're trying to fix it. That will make you stand out. If you look at any of the posts that stand out in an industry, it's always the one where people lift the kimono and show what's going on. The best article written on the music industry this year is an expose of Victory Records. Victory Records was an independent record label that had massive emo bands like Taking Back Sunday and Aiden and a few others on it. And it was an expose on how corrupt the music industry is, a terrible boss at one of the record labels, an amazing like 10,000 word read, it went super viral. So you have to say what's going wrong in order for people to really take note. Essentials. Your personal Facebook needs to be your public professional Facebook. I say this because 1,000 true fans is all you need to make it. So if you have 1,000 true fans who will pay you $100 over the course of a year, it's not that much, maybe a couple of ebooks or seeing you live 3 or 4 times, then you make $100,000 in a year. You need those first 1,000 true fans. Once you have those, you can guarantee that you will not fail when you launch something. And if you have those 1,000 friends on Facebook, then they get to interact with you every day. You get to build a relationship with you until you launch something. So even if it's something super technical, like in the finance or analytics niche, if you have a lot of people connected with you on Facebook, when you launch something, you have their attention. The reason this is important is because everyone from the top CEO to the youngest intern is on Facebook all day. No one escapes it. This is the place to go if you want to get people's attention. 1.7 billion users right now. Twitter is your public network. Typically when you Google anyone, Twitter is the first result if they don't have their name.com. So Twitter's the first thing they're going to click on when someone looks at you. So if you have 48 followers and you haven't sent a tweet in 3 months, that looks horrible. It's very easy to scale up on platforms like Twitter. It's very easy to send out content and to look relevant. LinkedIn is your professional network. Again, it's easy to scale up because people need your connections as much as you need theirs. So people are very likely to accept connections. Also, if anyone in this room doesn't have an email list, you can export all of your emails from LinkedIn. So make a note to do this and you instantly have an email list overnight that you can use tomorrow. New platforms. Medium is great for text. It picks up massively on search engine optimization, so unless you have an SEO guy, it's probably better to put your blog on Medium rather than your own site. Keep text on your own site as well, like duplicate it, but Medium is amazing at getting eyeballs. Instagram and Tumblr if you do a lot of pictures, and Periscope, Meerkat, Snapchat if you do video. There's a conspiracy amongst social media marketers like me, and it's a good one. We'll tell you the way to be good at social media is to post great content consistently with a strong voice. We tell you that because you try it, you don't get any followers, you don't get any clicks, and then you hire us and pay us lots of money. It's a great racket. But that's not how you grow. You grow your social media by being aggressive. Follow lots of people, reach out to lots of people, like people's posts, reply to people, ask for shout-outs. Whatever platform you're trying to grow, don't even bother with a content strategy until you have at least 3,000 followers on it. It is a complete waste of time. You will not get enough likes and shares. You may as well spend your time doing something else. People don't care about you, and they definitely don't care about your product. So if you're posting office selfies or alcohol Fridays, literally no one cares. Are you going to say something controversial? Sometimes it goes down well, sometimes people get offended. If you're not good looking, no pictures of the founding team. It's just not nice content for everyone else. You want content that will make people feel good. So if they look at you and they don't feel good, then that's bad. So how do you do that? If you're not good looking, then post lots of videos, quotes, pictures, interviews, things that will make people feel good. Now it's very hard to come up with that content originally every day, so my advice is to steal it. This is something I brought across from Facebook to Twitter. I was the first one to get it, and because of that, loads of people shared it, and my name started to trend in London and Melbourne, Australia. So I got loads of new followers for something I didn't create, but it still felt good. This is another classic. Not a lot of people know, the only people left using Twitter are unemployed people. So they wait for a famous person to tweet, and they want to get that first snarky response. So if anyone remembers when TalkTalk, that company with famously bad customer service, got hacked a little while back, the newsreader tweeted, "Breaking, TalkTalk has received a ransom demand." And the first reply was, "It could be hanging on for hours for a response if it's TalkTalk." So I screen grabbed that, 50 retweets instantly, and really, really easy to do. If you don't know where to find viral content, this is Welcome to the Internet, the best page on Facebook. They constantly scour the web for stuff that's likely to get likes and shares. Pretty much always brand safe, so any company can use this. This is Ruzzit.com, this is a viral content aggregator. So this will scrape the web for everything that's going viral right now. So you just tap in your niche, so racing, finance, fashion, gorillas, whatever it is, and it will find everything that's trending right now across Facebook, Twitter, and you can put whether you want links, pictures, or text. So this is your one-stop shop at the start of the day. Go here, see what's trending, put it on your social channels, and go about your day. This is Sniply. This is another way of getting extra traffic and emails. When you share a link, not just to your own site, but to BuzzFeed or Wall Street Journal or whatever, it injects a pop-up in the bottom left corner. And with this, you can put an ad to your website, or you can start collecting emails from here. So you can start getting extra clicks, even if you're not sending them to your own site. Instagram is the best place to find new users and customers right now. What you want to do on day one is find the one user who absolutely loves what you're doing, follow all of their followers, then look at the hashtags those followers use and start using them in your own posts. The reason for this is when everyone sees that you follow them and they look on your profile and you have the right pictures and you have the right hashtags, your follow back rate is going to go up astronomically. Follow, like is the best strategy for it. So this is when you manually sit there and you follow someone who's in your niche and you like 3 of their photos. This really increases the number of people who look back and are much more likely to follow you. Even doing this manually with your hands, you should get about 5,000 followers a week if you do this properly and you have your target market sorted. Instagram traffic. Instagram traffic shows up as direct on Google Analytics, which is the worst sort of traffic because it's very muddy. Direct traffic is everything from an app on your phone, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on. Anyone browsing privately, anyone clicking from an untagged email. So it's this big mess. So what you want to do is, if you have a link on your Instagram, let's say you want it to your homepage, don't put it to your homepage, create a dummy page like yourdomain.com/go, even if it looks the same as your homepage, and send the traffic to that. Then you know that every person who hits that page has come from Instagram. So you will put in your pictures, click the link in our bio for more information, and then send them to that page. Then you can measure whether your Instagram is actually bringing traffic. As far as I'm concerned, the whole point of social media is to get traffic to your website, is to collect emails. Memes are the easiest way of making people smile. Everyone from kids to grandmothers can all enjoy meme content. This is one of my favorites. This lady has her dog in the front seat and husband in the back. Everyone can enjoy that. It's something very relatable. My dream, a pretty girl. My reality, a fat cat. Everyone has been there, you know. So let's say your niche is food. You could just type into Google food meme and take the top 20 and you instantly have content that your niche is going to enjoy. So when you're trying to eat your roommate's food without them noticing, cut a very thin slice. Me before dinner versus me after dinner, with Kim Kardashian pregnant there. Single, taken, hungry. Now, food fans will appreciate this because food fans get hungry. That moment when you find the perfect avocado at the supermarket. We've all been there. Hey man, you need to slow down on all the carbs. Me? Why? This is one of the fattest dogs in the history of the internet. He's just completely given up. Me before and after I eat dinner. Look how cute that one is. So when you put these things in your feed, people naturally feel good and will naturally hit like and will naturally want to comment and start to tag their friends. Yeah?
What if it's a luxury business? I mean, that's not a very like luxurious post. The meme is, it's kind of signals low quality, doesn't it?
If you Google luxury meme, I think you'd find things like, I'm not going out drinking tonight, I'm too busy, you know, following my dreams. You know, it would look a lot classy. It would be a guy standing in front of a big car.
I mean, what I'm saying is, for example, Grey Goose Vodka wouldn't post like memes on their Facebook page to get traffic.
I don't know. A lot of the big brands have post memes. They tend to create them rather than use other people's photos. But they do. They catch on to memes and they tend to use them. But again, Grey Goose would probably have a quote about an inspiring life rather than a picture of a cat. but they would still use the exact same formula. So a meme doesn't necessarily mean fun, it doesn't necessarily mean animal. Meme basically means an in-joke within a group of people. So the meme amongst people who are chasing money is that cars is good, houses is good, partying is bad. So those would be the memes that tap into that. Smirnoff's bizarrely is drink responsibly because they have to, but then they put that next to people going absolutely crazy on a rager. So their memes are about who's looking forward to the weekend, who doesn't want to go back to work. It's still a meme, and they would have professional photography in there, but you need something that people can understand in seconds. That's what a meme is. This is the anatomy of a good Instagram post. So this is Founder magazine. They went from 0 to 110,000 followers in a very short amount of time. So they have a picture of Cecil the Lion here. They slapped an inspirational quote on it, "True leaders work for peace," given a tiny credit. And what they've done over here is the most interesting part. Not a lot of people know you can reply to your own Instagram post and drop in up to 30 hashtags, as long as you do it in the first 10 minutes, and all of these will rank. So they've done everything from businesswoman, desire, happiness, motivational. So they don't seem like they have any congruency, but they know that they will rank for 2 or 3 of them if they throw that many in. So this was a major way that they got a lot of traction very quickly. They also grew very quickly by getting shout-outs from big influencers in the space. This is really key if you're trying to grow quickly. So audience is the way you can find influencers for any keyword on earth. It has a free plan. You just sign in and you say what's the keyword that's going to be in their bio and how many followers am I trying to reach. So we find between 50,000 to 100,000 is a good sweet spot. Not many people are chasing those dollars. Everyone over 100,000 tends to get swamped with responses, or is signed to a big agency, or is $500 a post. So you would type in here fashion, if that was your niche. It would be 50,000 or 100,000, and then you would search through, and you could export this on the paid plan and go through all of them and reach out to them via DM and a picture comment to get them to give you a shout out. Regramming is another way of growing an account quickly. You find all the pictures that are getting a lot of likes in your niche, and you ask people if you can regram them, that's repost them to your own profile. Most people will say yes because you promised to give them a shout out, and there's a vanity thing there. And then they will start to regram you back using your hashtag. People will start to follow the hashtag and will start to follow back. The guy who created this was taking pictures of beaches in southwest Wales, and unbelievably he got 1,000 followers in 2 weeks, and this was all he did, just regrammed a few photos. But this is a good way of getting traction if you don't have money to spend to grow your Instagram. Use canva.com if you're not a designer and you want to create great looking posts or flyers. So it's really nice software that will automatically resize your Facebook image or your Pinterest long image. So really, really great if you want to create beautiful fonts really easily. You can use Hootsuite, Buffergram, or Later.com to schedule your Instagram posts so you don't have to physically be there every time making them live. And you can use Webster.me to help find hashtags. Anything with a product that looks cool is good for Instagram, so technology, personal brand, anyone looking to get thousands of users. Facebook is undeniably one of the best things that has ever happened to us in our lives. It's a way of reaching millions of people, and it still has a lot of ways that you can reach a person for free. For every 100 people who say a platform is dead or a tactic doesn't work, there's always 1 or 2 who can do it for free. So you'll probably know that if you build a Facebook page, only 2% of people will likely see your posts unless you pay them. So it's very, very hard to game a Facebook page, but this is why I'm a big fan for building a personal brand. Build your own image, your own personal profile. Personal profile has better page rank than a page, so your post will naturally reach people who generally interact with you. Add me on Facebook, Vincent.Dignan. I have loads and loads of Facebook groups that have hundreds of thousands of people in, and they're the easiest way of getting to your target market. Don't drop links in other people's groups because Facebook will ban you after a few, but you could certainly start to drop value and method posts. And this is, if you want to make $100,000, the easiest way to do it is Diana here, my friend. So she's a classic example of how to do this. Build a Facebook group around an area of expertise. So put out good content every day, and once people understand you as an oracle and people are into what you're doing, then you start a coaching program. It's a private coaching for the people in that niche who want to get higher. And 5% to 10% of people who follow you will buy everything you put out. So the easiest way to start a coaching business, charge someone, say, $1,000 a month for coaching. You can easily get 10 clients of the 500 you have in your group, and then you have $100,000 a year business. This is a massively growing niche. There are 20 million millionaires in America right now. In 2020, there will be 40 million. And I think a massive chunk of those is going to be coaches. Everyone needs to be coached. It's a service a lot of people need. So by building your personal profile out, you have a great way you can lean on a platform for free that can bring you a hell of a lot of money. This is my Facebook group, Traffic and Copy. So I do posts about how to get free traffic to your website. My co-founder, Charlie, does posts about copy. In the first 3 months, we got over 7,500 people in the group. We now have people in the group who have 100,000 followers on Facebook. We have massive engagement. It's a really fast-growing group. And some of the things we did to make sure it's a good group is we stopped people doing external links. We stop people spamming links to their blog, and we just show up every day. I do 2 to 3 posts every day, normally a how-to post. How to grow your Facebook overnight, how to create a great Facebook post, how to do selling easy enough. So you've got to be showing up every day on Facebook if you want to make a difference, posting 2 to 3 times. So Traffic and Copy, if you find it on Facebook and you ask to go in, everyone in here will get in. So you can grow your own Facebook group in 1 hour, right now. I think Facebook are going to cut this off soon, so this is maybe the last 6 months you can do this. When you invite someone to like your Facebook page, they can say yes or no if they even see it. However, if you invite someone into a Facebook group, they are in it. They then have to opt out. So as long as you put good content in that and the people are somewhat relevant, you're going to have 1,000 people in it in the first day. If you and your co-founder both have 500 friends and invite them in the first day. You can also invite up to 500 people a day once the group's going by email as well. So you can get a hell of a lot of people in the group very quickly through inviting, which means that you're off to a flying start. So this is an incredibly strong strategy if you have no money to grow and you want to grow a small, engaged network. This is how Facebook chooses what to show in your newsfeed. So firstly, interest. How interesting are you? Somewhat. Do people generally like, share and comment on your posts? Sometimes. Sometimes it's not good enough. You need to get likes, shares and comments on every post. The more likes, shares and comments you get, the more Facebook will show your post to other people. So having dead posts is not good enough. You have to experiment, find the things that work and then carry on doing those. Secondly, the type of posts you do. Live video will get shown to the most people. I'm doing live video right now. Hello. After that, video. Below that, text and photo. Finally, external link. If you take only one thing from this program, Facebook hates external links. It will show your post with external links to the least possible people. Do an experiment in the next few days or weeks. Do some external links and some pictures and text and see which one gets more engagement, or look at your past posts. Generally speaking, you will get twice the engagement if you do not put a link in the post. So you want to be building your page rank through text and photo and video, and then only when you have something to sell or a major announcement, then is the perfect time to put a link in. But generally speaking, avoid putting links. When people say, but everyone puts links, yes, and no one is getting anything out of Facebook. Only the people who really understand it are growing the big businesses at the back of it. So avoid external links. So don't link people to the blog post. Copy and paste the blog post and put it in as a text post. Facebook likes long text posts. They show, because Facebook wants to be a blogging platform. It wants to take over Tumblr, that's why it took the GIFs off. It wants to take over Medium, that's why it invented Facebook Notes. Facebook wants to be the only place you go to browse the internet. So as soon as you take someone off Facebook, it hates you. And its business model is for you to pay them so those links get seen. Recency is the area you have the most control over. You want to get everyone in your office to like, share and comment in the first 10 minutes. Have you ever noticed when there's been a baby or a wedding, it's glued to the top of your feed because a lot of people like, share and commented it very quickly. So if you get everyone in your office to do that, it will show it to more people. So Facebook shows your post to a few people who follow you, and then if they get likes, shares, and comments, it shows it to a few more, and a few more, and a few more, until a video hits 10 million. So generally speaking, your content needs to be as good as a baby or a wedding. You need to learn how to do Facebook paid. If you work with someone else, they will definitely be using it. And if you do your own thing, then you will need to use it as your company grows. So custom audience is the most significant way of doing this if you're on a budget. Custom audience is everyone who's given you their email on your website. You can plug that into Facebook and only show ads to those people. They've shown they're somewhat interested in what you're doing. Now you convert them. Twitter used to be my favorite social network. It changed its algorithm recently, and now Facebook is. But Twitter is still an amazing way of growing your profile, reaching people, doing B2B sales, and generally speaking, an easy way of getting traffic to your site. So don't worry about hashtags. No one uses them, unlike on Instagram. Twitter's not about mountains of traffic like Facebook is. Twitter is about finding 1 or 2 people every day who love what you're doing, reaching out to them, and then converting them to sales. Audience is the best Twitter tool of all time. You can look up anyone on Twitter. So let's say your niche is musicians. You would just type that in, and it would pull all of those people, and then you can plan to reach out to them, export it to an Excel on the paid plan. Basically, it's a big list of customers you have easy access to for free. One of the golden rules of the internet, people generally follow back. So using something like Tweepy, you can load up your competitors' followers and then start following them. Now this isn't the best way of doing it, but this is like a starter level. About 1 in 10 should follow you back. So at a basic level, get your intern to do this and you'll start to get followers every day. Don't follow more than 50 to 100 people a day for the first month on both Twitter and Instagram, 100 to 200 a day for the second month, and 200 to 300 a day for the third month, and unfollow the people who don't follow you back. Never follow more than 600 people a day. On Instagram, the odd thing is you're meant to follow people until you're following 7,000 and then start unfollowing. Twitter basics, steal the good stuff, only retweet compliments. Tweet the same article at least 5 times a day. No one's looking at your Twitter. If a tweet is not seen in the first 15 minutes, it will likely never be seen. Pictures most likely to be retweeted, so always increase those. And tweeting 50 to 100 times a day is fine. When we were running 10 magazines, we were tweeting 300 times a day per account. 5% of people would unfollow us. The other 95% were clicking tens of thousands of things, and it was a big value add for our agency. Anyone who is running a content-led business, Twitter is fantastic for. So the easiest way to get a content empire going, write lots of content and then send lots of tweets, and then that is traffic. You want to increase your traffic between today and tomorrow, line up loads of tweets tomorrow and watch the traffic to your website increase on analytics. Anyone looking to reach a certain job title location is great for Twitter. And events businesses. I hijacked the South by Southwest hashtag last year. We were helping an app launch from Iceland, and we put on a party and got Simeon Mobile Disco to DJ, and I was the entire marketing team. So we presumed everyone using the South by Southwest hashtag would be at South by, so we were replying to everyone using the hashtag saying, retweet this for guest list, VIP entry, free food, free drinks to our party. We eventually got the official South by Southwest to retweet us. And we had 1,700 people through the door on the night, one of the biggest parties at South by Southwest, and this was the only marketing we did, just 4 of us on laptops replying to people. So it was a really, really fantastic night, and it's great to bring growth hacking into the real world. And this was part of the reason that on this 100-day world tour, I'm not speaking to 5 people a night where I turn up somewhere that I've never been before, like Austin, Texas. By tweeting at people who are interested in what I'm doing, getting them to follow me, beginning conversations. Every town I go to, I have people waiting there for me. So if you're doing public speaking, Twitter's amazing to bring people through. This is FameBit. If you're looking for YouTube influencers, you just tap in, this is my niche. So I'm looking for someone to talk about my fashion line. My budget is $400, and then they bid for it, and then you can see who has the most engagement and who you want to work with. LinkedIn is another good place to cross-post your blog posts. So if you go on Pulse and you email Pulse and ask to be featured, there's a good chance they'll feature you, and then your post will reach a hell of a lot of people. I give this talk around the world, and there's 2 types of people. The first is like, I have an app idea, and I'm like, oh, okay, so what? And the second is like, I have an app idea and it has 500 users. And I'm like, now you have my attention. The reason is it shows hustle, it shows spirit. It's a big difference between those two numbers. So when you're trying to hire someone, when you're trying to get a co-founder, when you're trying to get an investor, having 500 is a big number when most people who start companies have 0. So anyone in this room can get 500. If you can't, then go and do another job. There's plenty of them out there. So message all of your LinkedIn contacts in batches of 20. Individually message all your Facebook friends as a private message. And the first message of that needs to be, can I ask you something? Not, here's my link. You have to get them to reply to that. If they don't reply to the can I ask you something, they're not going to click the link. Tweet all your Twitter followers one by one and email all of your contacts one by one. Business is hard. Every day you have to ask people to do things they don't know they want to do. So if you cannot do this by asking your friends and family, the people who love you the most, it's going to be very difficult to be successful in business. So start by hustling small and grow with time. New platforms, Periscope and Snapchat, great if you're good looking. I see a lot of businesses trying to use Snapchat. What exactly are they snapping? Here's me at a laptop, now I'm eating donuts. There ain't anything to snap, and you can't click through from Snapchat unless you get a big following and then get them to click a direct message. So Snapchat does have high engagement, but it's really only useful for personal brands and restaurants and bars where you can text people and tweet people and send them live Snapchats, come through for a 2-for-1. WhatsApp, if you can live with yourself, has a very high pickup rate, but people will hate you. You need to write 25 headlines work. So bit.ly is a link shortener, so rather than having the long URL, you can go bit.ly/a couple of words. And it will also track all the clicks. So where in the world did the clicks come from? England, America. What platforms? Facebook, Twitter, direct. And what day got the most clicks? So what you want to do when you write an article is put the same article into Twitter, Monday to Thursday, say at lunchtime, but have a different title within the tweet. So we found the best places to go out in London. And then the next day, you won't believe the best restaurant in London, you're going to like this. So the same thing said, different ways, and then you see on here which day got the most clicks, and that's the one you put on Facebook on Friday with some money behind it. I mean, if you have bigger budgets, you can do this entire process through Facebook, but you've validated that this will get clicks, and now it's just a case of scaling it out and making sure a lot of people see that link. Buffer is the best social media software in the world. You can post to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Google+, and Pinterest at once. So you can easily spray something out that goes to all of those platforms at the touch of a button. It has really good analytics, so you can just put what days and what times you want the post to go out. So really simple, like TweetDeck or Hootsuite, I just find it's a better product. And then it will show you how many retweets, how many favorites, how many mentions. So you can see at the end of the week which social media post did well, and it tends to be surprising once you look at this. And if you want to send the same tweets out, so let's say you have a lot of products or a lot of content, Meet Edgar or SmartIQ will enable you to loop updates. We are all subject to base desires. Get laid, get paid, lose weight. If you write about those 3 things, people will always click. If you can somehow fit any of these things into your content, you will always have people interested in what you're doing. Outreach is everything for the first 5 years. There don't come a point where you're like, oh, I have too much press. What do I do? You need to be reaching out every day, booking your own talks, booking your own podcast sessions, building your network constantly. It never stops. If you read any of Tim Ferriss's guides, even for books number 2 and 3, he's on the phone for days making sure he's got everything lined up for his launches. It doesn't come easy to anyone. Like, these things really need to be hustled. So if you look at where you are now with very little profile, it really takes a lot to get going. So that's why I say don't say no to public appearances, don't say no to podcasts, don't say no to blogs. It leads to a lot of things. Like Gary Vaynerchuk put it really well. He said, people ask me, how do I get on CNN? How do I get on Forbes? I want to reach that massive audience. And he says to them, you know, where were you when a tiny blog came and asked if you could do it? I did every blog that had only 30 likes or only 30 visitors, because one of those visitors might be someone at a bigger company. So Gary Vee said yes to everything on the way up. And regarding the hustle, if you look at what he did on Wine Library, which is his best hustle, because it was at the very start of his arc and he didn't have a following, 20 minutes a day producing the content, 4 hours a day getting it seen. 4 hours a day trying to get shout-outs, trying to get partnerships, trying to get people to speak about what he was doing. That was the hustle he used to get Wine Library from absolute zero to millions of viewers. So think about that when you think, how do I get my content out there? Right, this one has swearing. But I noticed a lot of English entrepreneurs, they were not only uncomfortable with selling, they just don't do it outright. And your business will definitely fail if you don't know how to sell. So here are the 10 fucking essentials to online selling. Number 1, put the fucking Facebook tracking pixel on your website. Number 2, collect fucking emails into an autoresponder drip campaign via Aweber. Number 3, have a fast fucking website. Number 4, be able to make changes to your fucking website quickly, i.e. don't outsource to someone in Poland if they take 2 days to get back to you on something. Number 5, do your basic fucking SEO. So in my book, Secret Sauce, A Step-by-Step Guide to Growth Hacking, we wrote a chapter, SEO in a Day. It is a big chapter, but if you do every point on it, and we tell you every website to go to, you will have basic SEO for your site. SEO is the best source of traffic. It is someone searching, I want this product right now. They land on your website, they buy it. Number 6, follow up with all fucking leads, new and old, once a month. Most people don't follow up with old leads. They don't realize they have a treasure chest just sitting there. Number 7, acquire a customer with a low-cost product and fucking upsell them to a high-cost one. And it's the number 1 thing when big companies take me in to consult. The first thing they say is, right, let's get some growth hacks going to get loads of new traffic in. And then I say, do you have an existing customer list? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, well, it's going to be 10 times easier to get more money out of the existing customer list. Why don't we start there? And then it takes them a lot less time to double the amount of revenue they're getting from their existing users. Number 8, call people on the fucking phone. Don't hide behind email. No one wants to use the phone, especially millennials, but it's really easy to ignore an email and it's very hard to say no on a phone call. Number 9, automate your fucking funnel from start to finish once it works. So once you have a sales funnel, automate all the parts, all of the responses, all of the payouts, all of the PayPal. You want to have as little time as possible on it once it works. And number 10, fucking mobile first, not desktop. Because you design it on desktop, you presume that's what people are. Over 50% of traffic to virtually every website in the world is mobile first. The only dinosaur that still has more desktop is LinkedIn. Secret sauce is everything. What can you do better than everyone else? This, if I had one piece of advice, this is it. Business is really hard. It's horrible. It's stodgy, like you know, the fat that drips out of burgers. It's very bad for you to run a business. High levels of stress. Your partner hates you. Your parents wish you weren't doing it. So if you don't have a secret sauce that makes you stand out, it's just too hard to do it. So find a secret sauce that will make you stand out. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, when everyone was selling those Lance Armstrong wristbands, there was loads of people on eBay selling them, competing for pennies, all slashing away on price. So everyone was like, wristband, wristband, wristband. And then a friend of mine started selling them as bracelets. No one had bracelets on eBay. Just that one term, the exact same product meant he made $6 or $7 per wristband rather than 30 cents like everyone else was. So having a secret sauce is just about being smart in some way. It's having some little competitive advantage that other people don't have. So for instance, when I launched my copywriting agency, our value add was not only will we write great copy, we guarantee to get traffic from an ABC1 demographic, because I had over 100,000 followers across my Twitter. This was back in like 2013, 2014 when Twitter was really engaged. So we would just put all the content out there and we were easily outstripping our opponents because they had to pay for all their traffic and we got it for free. So having a secret sauce is critical. What you want to be is be in a blue ocean. A red ocean is when everyone is competing in an ocean and slashing away at prices so that no one makes a profit. So if you think about those wristbands, everyone was trying to compete and no one really made much money. So in a red ocean, you are competing. In a blue ocean, you're uncontested, like Uber. It came from nowhere, it has no competitors. Likewise, Airbnb. Now competitors come, but they're all so far behind it doesn't matter. So you want to create something no one else has. And this is why personal brand's so important. No one else can be you. So the more authentically you are, the more you can stand out. So for someone else to come into the space. I was in Los Angeles and someone said to me, do you realize I could just take your content and do your talks? And I said, that's great. I would just go and make better content and start over. It's called having an anti-fixed mindset. Most people have this is all my knowledge, I won't learn more. Where I'm like, it could all go tomorrow, I would just write a new deck from scratch. Like I write a new talk every few months. So you need to be very confident that you can produce new things that no one else can overnight. Finding your blue ocean strategy. This could be the best slide in my deck if you could just find out how to stand out. Unfortunately, there is only one way to do this. Have your ass in the chair. It doesn't strike you like lightning, it comes by putting in a hell of a lot of work and then eventually realizing something that looked obvious in retrospect. For instance, Austin Allred, my co-author of my book, he started a secondary ticketing website. And pretty much everyone has thought about doing that to make money at some point in their careers. They made a lot of money very quickly. A lot of people tried to copy them, lost money, and left the market quickly, presuming Austin and his friends were lucky. But they weren't lucky. They had an extremely statistical analysis of about 100 data points. They looked what time tickets went on sale on eBay, what seats were selling, what towns were selling. Austin went to trade shows and spoke to drunk people and found out little secrets, little tricks. So they had this secret sauce spread across loads of data points, which meant they were much less likely to fail than people who were just looking at the surface level. So you have to find a secret sauce by looking at lots and lots of little things. And this talk, if you think, wow, he has loads of good stuff, like I've looked at hundreds, thousands of things in order to get this down to this 1 hour of content that now seems like I have unlimited secret sauce. But I've tried a heap of things that don't work and looked at a lot of pieces of software that suck. You can speed this up a little bit by using Clarity. So Clarity is when you can speak to an expert for $1 to $25 per minute. So let's say you want to do email marketing, you could read a few blog posts and try and work out how to do it, or you could speak to someone on Clarity who has sold $10 million worth of stuff. This is amazing because they will say, okay, use this email provider, don't use this in the title, never do this, and then this is how you can grow your list. So you can get to where you need to a lot quicker. Startups are all about speed. That's the real only advantage you have over big companies. Don't waste money on sales channels you don't understand. Social media will not save you. SEO can if you're very good at it. In terms of people who say we got big off content marketing, yes they did, but they put a heap amount of money into Facebook ads in order to see that content. For most early stage companies, the easiest way to get customers is public speaking. So how do you become a public speaker? Go on Meetup and Eventbrite. This is the exact strategy I used last year to get started. I'm now doing a 100-day world tour. So you go on Meetup and Eventbrite, tap in your niche, find all the meetups that are active. So let's say it's fashion, or let's say it's fitness, or let's say it's startups. And then you're going to send them all a private message using Meetup and Eventbrite. And same thing to all of them. Hi, I'm a big fan of your meetup. Can I come and give a talk? I have a massive network I can invite. Just say that, no one checks. Send that to everyone, and then you very quickly start to get invited to talks. About 1 in 4 will get back to you, because they need you as much as you need them. If you run an events company, every single week or every single month you need new speakers. So it's very low risk for them and higher return if you're a good speaker and can bring people. So once you've done this, you can start to grow your profile really quickly. Something that a lot of people agree with me on, charge low at the very start. The default is you charge too high because you think that's what you're worth. No one signs up, no one gives you any money, and now you don't know if it's worth doing. Nevertheless, if you charge too low, then first you're going to get money in the door. Your parents, your partner, investors will start to take you more seriously. And it's really easy to increase your prices for new customers. So the ones who took the low number, they get to keep that low number. But all the new customers that come on, they have to pay the higher price. So when I started coaching people a year ago, I was charging £99 for a month's worth of coaching. So that's a really low price for a month's worth of coaching. But that meant I had 19 paying clients in the first month. And of course, in the second month, I doubled my prices, I started to get referrals, and I got very confident with asking for money. And it's not natural to say to someone, you have to pay me this money. So if you're charging a low price, it's just like, oh, yeah, it's only £99, I'll send the invoice across. And you get very comfortable with that, and then you can start to ask for bigger and bigger amounts. It's so easy to increase your prices, but it's so hard when you're looking at a big fat zero and no one signs up. Main sources of more customers. Number 1, ask your friends. Number 2, upsell your current customers. Number 3, ask for referrals. Number 4, capture data and pitch, email marketing, which I'm about to get to. Number 5, give, then receive. Most people think if you're good at something, don't do it for free. It's rubbish and very arrogant. You need to give so people understand you're an expert, understand that you have influence over a group of people, and then you ask for money once you've proven yourself. So give talks for free, write content for free, put all your YouTube stuff up for free. 90% of people who watch any of your stuff will never ever give you a penny, but they spread the word about you, they give referrals. And the 5 to 10%, they will always pay. But you have to give out free so that a lot of people reach it. Plus there's peripheral benefits like asking to be on TV, podcast, press. Like when you give a lot out to a lot of people, it comes back to you. How to get, I think I've done enough swearing tonight. How to get people to pay up. Number 1, always take the first month in advance. So if we sell a service, you wouldn't pay for a flight afterwards. Number 2, offer them a 2% discount if they pay within 48 hours. Many companies have policies meaning they have to take it if you give that. Number 3, if you work for someone else, my boss is on my back, you know, I don't really care, but I need to get this. And if you run your own company, I need you to pay so I can pay my staff. No one wants to feel like Oliver Twist. Which is the bad one in Oliver Twist? Is it Scrooge?
Yeah.
No one wants to be Scrooge. So there are many ways to make a customer love you. One is to write to all your current and potential customers right now. Ask how your service is going, whether you're ready to smash it this week, and anything more you can do for them. Most people just take the money and only give when they have their coaching call, when they have that document. More generally, set up in your CRM to give an immediate free gift as soon as anyone buys anything. So for my Kickstarter, which was for live tickets for an event for Harambe, as soon as they bought the ticket, they got an email saying, here are my 12 best pieces of content, including my 2,000 word guide to productivity that will never be released online. So they immediately got a fat bump of free stuff. This reduces your refund rate and massively increases the chances the customer is going to be happy. Care about their results and act accordingly. Surveys have shown the best coaches are the ones who ask, how's your family, how's your sports team doing, before they get into, right, let's talk about your business stuff. It shows people that care beyond the surface. You are infinitely replaceable by 100 other people doing exactly the same thing. If you connected them on a human level, there's a much better chance they'll stay longer. One thing I've started doing in order to create a connection is be firmer with clients. I say when they hire me to coach them, I say, you have paid for my attention, and it's all you're going to get. If you do not do the homeworks we make on the calls, you don't get to do the call. This makes people actually do the work, and for both sides makes it better. Understanding their vision and their personal life will massively increase your amount of referrals too. This is everyone's favorite slide in my deck. So this is Charlie app. Type in anyone's email address and it finds all the public information about them on the internet. All their blog posts, all their company news, all their LinkedIn. So I might have a meeting with someone and be like, I like football team Arsenal. And they're like, wow, that's my team. We've got to work together. And I'm like, yes. But I don't really like Arsenal. I just found out they did and used it against them. This is the other use case for this is dates. So you get your Tinder date and you say, can I send you an email invite? And they're like, ah, that's kooky. Okay. So you get their email, you find out what they like, and then they like you more. This is Email Hunter. Type in any company's website and you find all the email addresses of people who work at that company. So if you want to sell to a company or write for someone, you can very easily find this. My friend runs an empire of cold emailing, and what he does is he has his interns in the Philippines use the Email Hunter Chrome plugin and just look at people's LinkedIn profiles all day and get all of those email addresses. Norbert is another way of finding anyone's email. You just need their first name, their last name, and their company domain, and it will find their email address. If you're doing cold emailing, it only works if you're doing hundreds or thousands. Very briefly, if it's a UK limited company, it is okay to cold email as long as it's about business. But if you only have like 35 or 45 people you're trying to reach, do not do cold emailing, it will not work. What you need is discovery. Go on anyone's LinkedIn profile and it shows you all the Facebook friends you have in common, and then use those Facebook friends to ask for a warm intro. This will convert a hell of a lot better. Or go on anyone's Twitter, it will show you their LinkedIn connections you have in common. So this is a much better way of getting to people so that you can much more likely get through the door. If everyone in here wants to be successful, there's an activity I want you to take in the next week. If you want to be successful, say I.
Aye.
Come on, London, if you want to do it, say I.
Aye.
Alright, so I want everyone in this room to do this in the next week. It's called a brain drain. Call up one of your competitors, pretending to be a customer. Find out all of the features they have on their product and all the features they're going to build in the next 6 months, and then steal their ideas. It's vaguely ethical, and bear in mind, you just agreed to do it. Final section. Email is 40 times more effective than Facebook and Twitter combined. Some of us build big Facebook pages, and now we find out that only 2% of people who've liked our page will see our posts. Some of us built big Twitter and Instagram pages, and now we find out the default view is not chronological, so if you post something, they're looking at the feed, they see it. The default view is while you were away, what got the most likes. That is always Kim Kardashian or Harambe the gorilla. It is not your company news. So when you build a house on someone else's land, you never really own it. But when you have someone's email, that's something you have for a very long time. Like, has anyone in here changed their Gmail address in the last 5 to 10 years? Once you have that, they have a permission to contact you. So it's a fantastic resource, and I've seen companies get acquired just for their email. So HelloBar will help you capture that. It sits at the top of your screen. It has a free plan and is very eye-catching, so you can have a message like 10% off anything in store if you sign up to our newsletters, or if you're not selling something, we've written an ebook on how to be amazing at sales, or whatever your niche is, and this will cause people to drop their email. No one wants a newsletter, they want value. This is a plugin, so when someone is scrolling their mouse and about to hit the red X, they get this pop-up, and again have 10% off or free content, like a free ebook. So it's fantastic for finding out how many people are really interested in what you're doing, and then remarketing to them. SumoMe also has this. It's a sharing widget, so Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. When people see it, they're much more likely to share. MailChimp is the industry standard. If you've not set up an email mailing list before, it's free for up to 2,000 users. Kickbox will boot out all of your broken emails, so misspellings and people have left the company. The reason this is important is if you have a lot of bounces, you head to the spam bin much quicker. 5 steps to getting your emails delivered. Use the first name in every email to make your email unique. Warm up the IP if it's a new email account. So email 20 people you know or 20 email addresses you have and get them to reply to the email okay. Then there's a much bigger chance that your emails will get delivered, because otherwise if 1,000 people open it and no one clicks, it looks spammy. Send in small bursts. Don't use the word free, giveaway, or Viagra. That will trigger the spam bin. So if you are having trouble getting your emails seen, switch up whether it's text or photo, and you may get a better response rate. Secret weapon, if you have a very small email list, quickmail.io. This will send it from your Gmail to their Gmail, so it lands in the inbox, not in the promotions tab. If you don't know how to create good emails, this is reallygoodemails.com. You just go on here and you can look up Uber, Lyft, and other companies and copy their email layouts that convert real good. StockSnap and Pixabay will enable you to use photos for free without any attribution, so you can very quickly build up a database, whatever your niche is, that you can use in your content and your email mailouts. Review, you can drop links and pictures in and it will make your mailout for you. Wavelength enables you to swap email list shoutouts, so if you sell weightlifting weights and you sell that strange steroid powder that weightlifters eat, it would connect you because you have the same audience, but you're not competing. Connect 6 is another stalking tool. Go on someone's Facebook and it will show you all of the other platforms they're on, so Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, but don't use Google+, because no one does. Email tools. Psychic enables you to see who opens your email. So the best sales technique is to wait for people to open your email and call them up, and then they're like, oh, actually I have your email open now. And you're like, what a coincidence. Well, let's talk. And then get them. Boomerang, send emails later. So if you're doing a Kickstarter launch, you can have loads of emails planned to go out at one time, so you have an explosion of traffic. Your inbox should be a to-do list. If you have a lot of emails, if you have thousands, then use Maelstrom to get to inbox 0. It'll archive everything out of your inbox, so you can still search them, but it won't be in there, and it will unsubscribe you from all your newsletters. So it's $10, use it for 1 month, get to inbox 0, and then delete it. If you're a person who does sales in your company, this is Streak. It's a fantastic tool. Every time a lead emails you or an investor emails you, tick one box, and then it will put it into this sales flow that sits inside your Gmail. Are they a lead? Have they been contacted? Are you negotiating? And by doing this, you have a better chance of keeping track on how your sales are going and reporting back to your co-founder. Now, when you start a company, you're generally a little lower in the power balance than whoever it is you're emailing. So you may email someone and they may not get back to you, but they should, because you spent time to create that email. So Rebump is a Gmail tool. If you email someone and they do not get back to you, Rebump will email them every 4 days forever. It'll be like, just thought I'd check you one more time. An investor once said there's a 98% chance I didn't see your email and a 2% chance I hate your guts. People want to be hustled. If you send the same thing, you have a much better response rate. I feel like I'm giving out a lot of secrets, but this is an important one. This is ChartGo. You can create really nice looking charts, just very simply, what's the X, what's the Y, and it will create it. So here's my tip for charts, and this is really important, so everyone listen up. I find they should go up and to the right. It's a good joke. Okay. Emojis increase open rates in emails. It probably only lasts another 6 months before everyone's doing it, but no one expects to see an emoji. So by going on Apple, Control Command or Spacebar, you can type anywhere, you can put an emoji in. If you're not on Apple, iemoji.com. Reactiongifs.com is where I get my GIFs from. You just type in the website, I am happy, I am angry, I am disappointed, and it finds you a GIF. So you can drop that into an email. No one expects to see that, and it puts a smile on people's faces. You can also turn any YouTube video into a GIF by putting the word GIF before YouTube. So www.gifyoutube.com will enable you to create a GIF for anything. Typosaurus will find any spelling errors on your website. Trello is your digital to-do list, so it's an amazing project management tool, and at the click of a button you can create a card, so what's to be done this week, what's to be done today, what am I waiting for feedback on. Great for delegating tasks to other people in your team, but great also if you work on your own, because you don't have anyone to tell you what to do. So if Trello's today's task is clear and you're at inbox 0, all your work is done. This is lean domain search. This will find all the available .coms in the world. There are still millions available. So I was searching for God, and I found main God, mint God, bold God.com still available. So if God is still available, your app idea probably is too. If you're trying to build your personal brand, it's really important you understand the psychology of people. Business is about 3 things: psychology, maths, and strategy. So if you don't understand the psychology, it will not matter the other 2 parts. The 48 Laws of Power is the best book ever written on practical human psychology. So it contains golden rules like say less, play a sucker to catch a sucker, conceal your intentions, create a grand spectacle, never be predictable. So all of these little things that you can do that will make people be attracted to you. And also when I was on welfare, this by far was the most useful book I read of all the business books I read, because I go to an investor meeting and I'll be like, oh, he's trying to do this to me, I'm going to do this in return. So this is a super, super practical book that will help you understand people. Sadly, it also works in personal relationships, like girlfriends or whatever. On a less amoral note, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a fantastic book that trains us out of our natural selfishness. We all think we're good people, but we're not really. We eat bad food, we voted for Brexit, we spend the whole day on Facebook moaning about things. We're not really good people. When other people are talking, all we're really thinking is, when is it my turn to talk? So how to influence and influence people will enable you to see what you're doing and stop it. It contains golden rules like compliment the other person, never contradict, complain or condemn about the other person, smile, listen. The sweetest sound in the world to the other person is the sound of their own name. When you do these things, people will like you a lot more, and you need to be liked. It's very important because you can get a lot more done and people will go a lot further for you if you're liked. So this book will massively help you achieve that.